Alright, today we're going to continue our discussions into reciprocals and multiplicative inverses. Those are the same thing. It's two names for the same thing. And it's a great tool, a lot like the additive inverse. Remember, the additive inverse is just the opposite of a number. So -3 and +3 are opposites of one another, equal distances from the origin, mirrored across. But when you sum them, -3 plus 3, you get 0. +112, its opposite is -112. When you add them, you get 0. A reciprocal, or the multiplicative inverse, has a similar property. So, for most of us, this is probably a review, but 2/3, the reciprocal of 2/3 is simply 3/2. So if you take a look at the rest of them on the board, and again, these names are the same, multiplicative inverse and reciprocal are the same. -1/4, its reciprocal would be -4/1, or just -4. 7, the reciprocal of 7 is 1/7. So what would the multiplicative inverse or the reciprocal of A be? It is simply 1/A. And this would be the algebraic expression. We would say the reciprocal of any variable x would be 1/x, or A is 1/A. So why is it important? Why bother spending any time on it at all? The additive inverse makes 0, which is one of my two favorite numbers. It's a really cool number. What can the reciprocal do? And that's got a little wiped away here. What can the reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse do? So let's start with the number 2. What is the reciprocal of 2? 1/2. Okay, if you add those, you get 2.5. Nothing special, because you think about it. Let's do another one at the same time. What's the reciprocal of 3? 1/3. If you subtract them, you get 1.5, or you get 2 and 2/3. Again, nothing special. If you do, but here's the special thing. What happens if we multiply them? 2 times 1/2 is equivalent to 1. 3 times 1/3 is 1. Let's do -1/4. What's the reciprocal of -1/4? -4. -1/4 times -4. Bring the negatives out. 2 negatives make a positive. 1/4 times 4, 1. This is my second favorite number. 0 is one of my favorite numbers. 1 is my other. The multiplicative inverse will help us get to 1, and that is a powerful tool in algebra. And while it's a powerful tool, we have to realize its limitations. There is one number that can never have a reciprocal. And if we pause and think about it, maybe we can think of it. If we think of all the numbers, 1/3.7 is fine. So 3.7's reciprocal would be 1/3.7. Pi has a reciprocal, 1/pi. But there's one number you can't take the reciprocal of. 0. Because if you try to take the reciprocal of 0, 1/0 is undefined. You can never divide by 0. We're going to use the multiplicative inverse or reciprocal quite often in algebra to help solve equations. And again, we just have to be able to take it on demand.